Hello, I'm IBXToyCat, and welcome back to another video. Today I have more of a discussion style video because I'm going to be talking about some really strong, really strange, and really interesting hints we have regarding the zombie horse and the skeleton horse coming to Minecraft console. Maybe not in the next update, but in a future update as a console exclusive or as a console, like first feature. Not just as a mod like we have them right now, but, as a fully fledged feature. And I'll be explaining all the reasoning for this in the video. These are the two horses right here that I'm using, a save file mod to show you. And yeah, I'll explain all the reasons for it in this video. Please do like it if you do like it. It would help out the channel a lot. Let me know that you liked it, and it'd be very appreciated because this is a slightly different video, but I figured you might want to just hear about all these hints because I've been thinking about them for a really long time, and they really do strongly hint to them coming to the console in the future. But first of all, let's explain the history behind these two mobs, why they exist, what they even are, and all these sorts of things. So let's quickly first of all explain that they were added to the PC version in 1.6 as kind of like a removed feature, because at some point in development they were working on a skeleton horse and a zombie horse, perhaps as a hostile mob or a mob for the zombie and the skeleton to ride, but in the full version of the game they were never properly implemented. They're just a texture on a horse. They they have no special features, just slightly different health values, and that's really what they do. They just kind of exist to do that. Also there's a super speed mod on them, just ignore the super speed for now, and yeah, that's what they would do there. And the interesting thing about this is, although it's been 2 years, they've still never done anything with them, but they still are in the PC game code files, because they rarely remove things from the PC game code, and it's like, if you want to mod them into the game, you can, but they don't do very much, even though it's been 2 years. So just bear that in mind, because the console version recently updated to 1.6, that same update, and for some reason, as well as adding the other variants of horses, they added the skeleton horse and the zombie horse, but in the same fashion where you can only get them through really strange save file modding. And the thing about save file modding is it's not something Microsoft or Sony endorse, and 4J Studios are not, endorsing it either. Like, they don't support modders, they don't support all this sort of thing, but yet they added this to the game seemingly only for the modders who do the things that they don't endorse, which is very strange and interesting by itself, because this took a little bit of extra development effort. Maybe it was just, the effort of copy-pasting the texture from the PC, but they did have to add the separate horse variants. However, you might be able to argue, well, they just did it just in case, or maybe they did it because, there's 5 variants of horses on PC if you only have 3 on console. Maybe that messes with the 3 that people can actually see. I could kind of understand that. That makes sense to me at first. But the interesting thing about that is, in the same update where they added this removed mob that you can only get through save file modding, there is another mob that you can only get through save file modding and on the PC using mods, and that is the giant. So this is a giant zombie that can wear some armor, can do lots of really cool stuff like that, but basically on the consoles now, as of Title Update 19, that mob was removed from the console, and very few people noticed, of course, because again, it's something you can only get through modding, but it is something that they did decide to do. It's a mob no one can use that they decided to remove, yet in the same update they decided to remove that feature. They added 2 more, the skeleton horse and the zombie horse. Very strange behavior at first, and to me this is like, pretty strong hint, but it wasn't too much by itself. But if you combine this with the fact that they actually, at the same time as adding these horses, added a bunch of new textures for them. So if you wonder what I mean by that, basically every time a texture pack comes out, they add new textures for all the blocks in the game. So when Title Update 19 came out, they had to add new redstone block textures for all the texture packs. They had to add, new, wither textures, all these sorts of things. At the same time as doing all of that and all the new horse textures, one thing that I cannot understand the purpose of is they added new skeleton and zombie horse textures. So I'll show you one of them right now. Let's switch over to the Skyrim mashup pack. Okay, so we're here in the Skyrim mashup pack, and as you can see, this horse very much glitched out. And as you can see, they decided to, when making all these new textures, add new textures for the zombie horse and the skeleton horse. And this is something that is very confusing to me because, it means that someone, before this update came out, they're working on the new blocks, and then they decided to go through, this new thing and add new textures for the skeleton horse and zombie horse. Because bear in mind, they don't have to add textures for all these new blocks. If they don't add textures to blocks, like we saw the Mass Effect mashup pack, it will just use the default mobs. So what they could have just done is they could have just had the default skeleton horse and the default zombie horse, and not only, the thing about this is it's not something that's unnoticeable, it's something that's so ridiculously unnoticeable, literally only hundreds of people out of the millions and millions of cells they've had will even have a chance to see this, because you need to mod your save file to potentially get one of these. You need to know exactly what you're doing to do that, or download a mob that does have a skeleton horse or a zombie horse. Then you need to visit it in a different texture pack, and then, even then, why do they care about you seeing a different horse? But they did go through the effort of designing new horses, zombie horses and skeleton horses, for all of the, 10 or 12 texture packs there is. And, although, adding a new texture for, a redstone block or stained glass or something isn't too much effort, adding an entirely new horse texture, which, by the way, this is the Skyrim mashup pack, so this is, I think this is, based on Shadowmere from Oblivion. You can see it's the blue horse, it's themed on the game, so I'm put a lot of love and a lot of effort into this, horse, this texture for the skeleton horse, and I just can't work out why someone would do that for something no one's ever going to be able to see. If the plan was to never have these be on show and to, basically only have them bid as modders, why would they go through the effort? I mean, I don't understand it personally. I'll quickly switch out to another texture pack and show you another one. And here we are in the Halloween texture pack. Again, a limited time texture pack that very few people can have. And here you can see they've got an even more different texture pack. It's not just like they took the same texture and slowly added it to more texture packs. They individually, they got an artist to went and think about, what a zombie horse would look like in the Halloween texture pack and a skeleton horse in the plastic texture pack. And they did it for all of them. And that's just such a strange concept to me. Again, I just can't possibly work it out, and this horse is just running around in circles. But yeah, so there's 3 possibilities I can think of as to why this could happen, because if you don't know, when the giant was in the game, they didn't add new textures for that. So basically what it could be is, first of all, the when they handed off the new textures to the people who do the art, there was a miscommunication and they just thought, oh, this is a new feature coming in the next update, let's make sure we put a new texture on it. Because when, obviously with title update 19, there must have been like 30 or 40 new items they had to texture, or maybe like close to 100, something like lots and lots of new items and stuff they had to texture. Maybe this was just on the list and they don't know anything about the game. Maybe they would kind of ignorant in that way. Maybe what it is they figure 4J don't know whether these are going to be coming in the PC in the future or not, so they just went through all the effort of coding them in now, having the textures in now, and that way, when they do eventually come out on the PC, it's less effort. I personally, trying to work it out doesn't make too much sense to me, but the logical conclusion from that is that they probably have plans for it at some point in the future. They wouldn't go for all this effort for something they have no plan for and are going to eventually remove. I think, one of the things they're thinking, because if, basically, the skeleton horse and the zombie horse would be such cool features when they added the game. It just takes the right kind of thinking, the right kind of implementation, and you can have an amazing feature there. So what I figure it is once you consider the fact that horses are some of the most successful features we've ever had in the consoles, I've been talking about in my videos about how, having new mounts in a future update would be a really cool thing. They already have some future mounts in the game that people already love and that people would already, be crazy over seeing, and that is the skeleton horse and the zombie horse. So yeah, I really do think that at some point in the future, maybe not this next update, but maybe, when they start adding exclusive, the skeleton horse and the zombie horse are just such logical choices, because you could have them be like rare horses you can only get, let's say, there's a 1 in 50 chance for zombie riding a zombie horse, or a 1 in 50 chance for skeleton riding a skeleton horse. This could replace the skeleton jockey. You could be riding, a skeleton horse instead of a spider. There's so many opportunities with this, and you can make like a rare horse that once you get it, it's like a pride thing, like with Shadowmere in Oblivion. Again, I think Shadowmere is also in Skyrim. But yeah, so there's a lot of just really cool, possibilities when it comes to, the skeleton horse and the zombie horse coming to the game. I think new mounts at some point are a near definite thing. So combine that with all the information we have on the fact that there's one sitting in the game right now and you just have to code it into working. It makes a lot of sense to me that the skeleton horse might be like the stained glass, a feature they intend to add in the future updates. So they got most of the work done now. That's what I think anyway. Let me know what you think in the, comments down below. Also, like the video if you did like it, share it if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here. I do a bunch of videos, not all of them just hints, but a lot of news, a lot of weird stuff like that. And oh, just as a fun fact, the stained glass, by the way, does have new textures in each texture pack. So here's the stained glass in the Halloween texture pack. You can actually see like all the new textures that are going to be coming to the game later. The command block and the stained glass do have new textures, so it makes sense that the the zombie horse and skeleton horse might be too. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Maybe this is me being too wishful, but I really do think there's so much evidence pointing to these things coming, and I think it just makes sense. So thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.